and welcome to episode 34 of Mind in Bloom TV by Adventures with Flowers with me, Kendall Platt, where I talk about all things mindful gardening and floristry and how they can help you to feel calmer, happier and less overwhelmed. My mission with Adventures with Flowers is to encourage busy women to feel able to give themselves a break more often. Even 5 minutes a day can help you to feel calmer and less stressed in a short space of time. The reason I care so deeply about this is because after overloading myself both at work and at home for most of my adult life, I developed anxiety and was on the cusp of burnout. And if I can do anything to prevent you from going through that as well, then I'm going to do it. I feel passionate about changing the societal norm of women doing everything for everyone and putting themselves last on the list, not just for ourselves but also for our daughters and the next generation. Undoubtedly, the best way for us to make that change is to show the next generation that we take time for ourselves every day to unwind, to grow, and to put ourselves first for just 5 minutes out of the 1,400 odd minutes that there are in a day. And hopefully that will become the new norm. My clients often say to me that they find it hard to sit and do nothing when they're relaxing. And I completely get that because I was exactly the same. And a wonderful tool that I have found that helps me to take small amounts of time for myself every day is growing and arranging my own cut flowers. And in this series, I hope to be able to share with you some of the reasons, benefits and methods for doing so. In this episode, I'm actually going to take you inside the Mind in Bloom membership, which is one of the membership programs that I offer. This is actually on Facebook, a private Facebook group, and I'm going to just show you around in there. The reason for this is because if you're watching this in real time, it's the last week in January 2020, and the membership is open for new members to join. I am launching this week a 12-month membership program, and I'm launching it in a beta testing mode. Now, this is because I've got some great ideas, I think, of what will be useful for you, but I'm offering only 10 spaces, and it's first come, first served, to people who want to basically come and test out the membership for me and give me really good feedback, so I can make sure that it really works for you. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you're going to be learning how to grow and arrange your own cut flowers, and also how to do that mindfully so you can really reap the benefits of gardening and floristry for relaxation, which is what I teach. So I'm offering a 25% discount off the price as well. So for the full year, the cost is now, let me see if I can remember this, £269.88, really random amount. And basically that works out about 74p a day. So if that is something that appeals to you and you really want to get learning how to garden and grow your own flowers for well-being, and you want to be able to find a calmer and happier version of yourself in 2020, then I will put the link to the program in the details below so you can find it. But for now, let's jump on into the membership and I can show you around so you can see what you're going to be getting. Right, so welcome to the Mind in Bloom membership program. Like I said, it's hosted on Facebook currently. I may change that in the future, but at the minute, this is a really nice way within a private Facebook group to organise all the learning units, because they have these things on the side called units, and it really helps to put everything into their different areas. So I'm going to briefly scroll down so you get a little bit of the idea of how the different units are structured. So firstly, there's a unit that's just called How to Get the Most Out of the Programme. Obviously, I put this as Unit 1 because I advise starting with that. We've just got some different agreements there that you can read, some ideas of how to get the most out of your membership. Obviously, it's up to you, it's your membership, how you use it. And there'll be certain things that work for you that don't work for other people. But yeah, that's just a really good guide there. And then as part of the membership, you also get one garden live session a month with me. On that, I demonstrate the mindful gardening activity for the month that will have been sent to you in the post. And you can either garden along with me, or you can just watch and get some ideas and then do it in your own time. And then also on that session, I go through a few different other sort of relevant mindful gardening activities depending on the time of year. So obviously that will change through the seasons. So if you've already got an established garden, then you will pick up some extra tips there. Also, there'll be a section that's available for you to ask questions. So if you have any particular questions about things you want to learn about, obviously if it's a quick answer, I can answer it then and there. If not, I can prepare something for the next month's Garden Live. So yeah, and that's just a nice chance really to it's done via Zoom, which is like a video conferencing program. It's free to download, and it's nice because you can see all the other members that are logged on at the same time as well. So it's a nice way to get to know other people in the membership. And then there's just an FAQs, so that's just things like, oh, my box hasn't turned up, what do I do? So obviously it doesn't happen very often, but it's good to know what to do if it does happen to you. The next unit then is useful resources. So this is things that don't really kind of fit into any of the other units, but again, it probably follows on quite nicely. It's a little bit more specific than the first unit. But you can dip in and out of them. So one of them, for example, is a video on what is mindful gardening. So if you're new to mindfulness and gardening, then that is a good video to watch. Another video there on how gardening and floristry can help you to feel happier, calmer and happier. Some tips on how to keep your soil healthy. There's a PDF document there on some different mindful gardening activities. So the idea is really that all the information is in there for you, and you can choose to dip in and out of it as you choose. So you might look at that and think, oh, actually, there's only a couple of things in here that I fancy doing, and that's absolutely fine. Like I said, you use it as you choose to. There's also some information in there about how to start a journal practice, because as part of the membership, we do some journaling. Again, you don't have to join in with that if it's not your sort of thing, but I would encourage you to kind of give it a go and just see how you feel, because actually I think a lot of people find it really, really helpful, especially if you suffer from anxiety or you do operate on quite a high stress level. Sometimes it is quite nice to get all of the thoughts out of your head and onto the page. And then this one here is about how to spend your daily you time. So I really do encourage that everybody in the membership takes at least 5 minutes for themselves every day to really feel the benefit of the membership. And that is just a few ideas there. If you haven't got enough already from everything else in here and the other activities that we're going to look at in a minute, then there's a few more ideas there. And these are all going to be added to as we go through the programme. So, for example, the 15 mindful garden activities for winter is obviously specific to winter. So once we're into the spring, there'll be ones in there that are for you to do throughout the spring as well. So they will be being added to. Unit 3 is quick wins for when you're feeling overwhelmed. So these exercises are short exercises for when you are feeling particularly stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, as the title says, and they take sort of 5 or 10 minutes, and the idea for them is to take you from being very stressed and feeling quite full on to calm within the space of doing the exercise. So that's just in there again for you to dip in and out as and when you feel you need them. You can print them off. I would ask that obviously you don't distribute them to other people because they are obviously part of the programme that I've devised. But if you feel that you want to keep them in your handbag for maybe when you're at work and you sometimes, you might get a bit stressed, then you can keep it in your handbag. But obviously, if you can access Facebook on your phone, then you can always look at them on the phone as well. So that's completely up to you how you use that. The next section is one of the most useful sections, I think, is the gardening skills. So this is a mix really, so there are going to be videos in here. There's only 2 posts at the minute because I'm building it up as we go through the growing season. Obviously we haven't been doing that much gardening over winter, but new videos will be added to that every month, and they will always link with the mindful gardening activity for the month. So the activity that we did in January was seed sowing in discs. So obviously that's mindful seed sowing in discs there. But then I have added a bonus one in as well, which is how to plant a winter container to brighten your mood. So I will be adding a couple of bonus videos in there. So if you already, like I said, have an established garden, or you just fancy doing another slightly bigger project, and you can go to the garden centre and you're happy to go to the garden centre and buy the things that you would need for that, then you can do those extra ones as well if you want to. The next unit is the Floristry Skills. So at the minute, the only thing we've got in there is 5 tips for cutting and conditioning your homegrown flowers. Obviously at the minute there are not that many flowers for arranging, but over the next few weeks I have some videos that I recorded last summer that I will be putting in there, because although they are using summer flowers, the premise is the same as to how you go about creating those arrangements. So as you know, we sort of move into spring and we start getting the daffodils. If you already have an established garden, you might already have some hellebores popping up in your garden. You can obviously use those, as well as perhaps some foraged foliage from out and about on walks, to make these arrangements. So they will be appearing over probably 1 or 2 of those a month, until we've got a nice different portfolio. And there'll be things like there'll be little posies in there, there'll be how to make a bouquet to give to a friend, there will be sort of slightly larger arrangements maybe for the dining table, there'll be an arrangement for a sideboard or a windowsill, and then come Christmas time, I hate to talk about that because we're literally only in January, then there will be how to make a wreath and also a winter garland as well. So if there's any other types of arrangements and you do join the membership that you'd be interested in seeing, then let me know, because obviously this is all about making this membership as useful for you as possible. So once you join, then you can just go straight into the Facebook group and just pop your ideas in there of things that you would like to learn about, and I can add those to the programme. The next section then is I've called it Life Lessons in Nature. Now I'm writing one of these each month, and the topic is related to the mindful gardening activity that we have done for that month. So always inspired by the activity. So the January one, for example, was we were sowing very small seeds into compost discs, and then obviously those seeds are going to grow into seedlings, and I explored the concept of vulnerability in relation to those seedlings, and how actually allowing the seedlings to be a little bit vulnerable and not wrapping them up in cotton wool, if you will, actually allowed for them to grow stronger in the long run. So that's kind of the type of thing we're going to be exploring there. It won't be for everybody, but I think it's nice to read those and understand how nature can inspire us to just challenge perhaps sometimes the way that we live our lives, because we are so conditioned by society, and actually nature just carries on and does its thing. So I think it's sometimes nice to go back to the drawing board and look at how nature manages it.
The next section then is quite closely tied to the life lessons in nature. So for each topic, you will have a certain number of journaling prompts. So these come out always on a Thursday. So however many Thursdays are in the month is however many journaling prompts you will get. And these are for you to use alongside the article, the life lesson in nature, and also to kind of develop your journal practice. And they just ask you a few little questions. So if I just click on one of them here so you can have a look at it. So week 1, think of a situation in which you felt vulnerable. How did it make you feel? Did you avoid those feelings? If so, what did you do to avoid them? So it just kind of makes you think about your behaviours and how you might be avoiding certain situations that do make you feel uncomfortable, and perhaps you might want to change that in 2020. So if I just go back then, so there's a couple more journaling prompts there, and then the last unit is the monthly garden lives. So I spoke about these a little earlier. So these are always, I think, on the second Saturday of every month at about 10 a.m. and they're done via Zoom, and I actually record the call. So if for whatever reason you can't make it because your daughter has a swimming lesson on Saturday at 10 a.m, or you happen to just be doing something that particular Saturday but you can usually join in, then you can always catch up, and I save them in here. Also in this unit there is the live dates for the whole of the year, so you can see them there, and that's the meeting ID. But if you do become a member, then you will be sent instructions on how to join all of these things when you become a member. So I wouldn't worry about that at the minute. It's just to kind of give you a little idea. If I just go now into the general so you'll see here, this is kind of just the general discussion. So that's as a pinned post, because obviously it's important for people to know when those sessions are so they don't miss them. That's one of the journaling prompts. And then we also, as part of our journaling, a nice way to start journaling is to start with a gratitude journaling practice if you've not really done too much journaling before. So this just pops up every now and again to kind of sort of ask you, what are you grateful for? Just to remind you to sometimes stop and think about it, because it can be hard when life is busy to remember to do these things. Then this is actually a video that I recorded for last week's episode, but I think it's really useful for members to hear these tips as well, so they also go into the membership. Let's see what else we've got here. So this is one of the videos on how to plant a winter container. A few extra little mindful gardening and floristry tips. I post them into here as well, just in case you're sort of thinking about, I fancy doing a bit of a mindful gardening activity, but I've done my mindful activity sent out in the box for this month. What else could I do? So a few of those go in as well. I do obviously call on my members to give me their opinion on what workshops they think I should run coming up, because obviously they're interested in mindful gardening and floristry, so they would have probably quite a good opinion on what will work well for other people. And then here's one of the floristry videos. So that's 5 tips for cutting and conditioning your homegrown flowers. So I'm not going to go too much more into this, because hopefully I will see you in the membership very soon.
I hope that has given you an insight into all the value that you will get by becoming a member of the 12-month Mind and Bloom membership programme. Enrolment is only open until this Friday, and there are only 10 spaces available at the beta testing price. So if you want to get involved with helping me develop the membership and becoming a founding member, and also bag yourself that 25% off, then please do head to the link below and purchase your spot. It's perfect for you if you love to learn to grow and arrange your own cut flowers and benefit from the relaxation benefits of gardening and floristry at the same time. I can't wait to have you as a member. Thanks so much. Bye.